morning from Le Mans, France and the Bugatti racetrack. We are back for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship and day number 2. This might be quite a special day because maybe Norbert Kish already might become the European champion this weekend, but nothing is written in the books yet. And we're about to get started with qualifying number 2 for this weekend. So let the cards play and let's see how this weekend goes. We had quite a couple of surprises yesterday, so for everyone who did not have the time to be in a live stream, just go back on YouTube. You will find all the races to re-watch and to just jump into the game for this very fantastic day that is about to come. And of course, Chas Traycott, our lovely commentator, is along with me for this very sunny Sunday as well. It's quite cold, but who cares? I saw the trucks already heating up the tires, so we are ready to get racing. Hey, Chas.
Hello, Lena. Hello, everybody. Yes, good morning. Welcome to Sunday here at the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And Lena is absolutely right. We had a very exciting race day yesterday. So much going on through both of our races, and the Le Mans Bugatti circuit once again did not disappoint. There was lots of action and a bit of argy-bargy in the opening stages of the first race of the day. Unfortunately, Mark Taylor and Jose Rodriguez making contact in the early stages. But there was a lot of great battling in the mid-pack. So many drivers working really hard to shuffle their way through the order without major contact, because this circuit is so tight and narrow and twisty. The heavy braking zone and racecraft here as well, though, so you have to be so precise with any overtaking maneuvers, and it was definite that we were going to be in for some good racing this weekend. But boy, they certainly did not upset us. Jochen Hahn received a 5-second penalty after yesterday's race for the contact with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, which dropped him down into 6th position. It's only changed the championship points slightly. I believe he's lost 1 point and his rivals have gained 1 point apiece, so not much movement there. But it doesn't also stop Norbert Kish at the top of the championship either. He comes into this final race day of the weekend with a 76-point advantage in the championship. And now, with just 3 of each type of race left, 3 race 1s and 3 race 2s for everybody this season, there are 90 points available on the table. However, after this first race of the day, there will only be 70 points left on the table. So all he needs to do is basically finish at least 2nd here, because then nobody can outscore him by more than 6 points, which is what he would need to do to hold on ahead of Jochen Hahn. All the teams and personnel are making their way out to the circuit, and the trucks themselves make their way into the pit lane for this first qualifying session of the day. We'll have qualifying 1 and then the Super Pole session coming up very soon. Seems like we've had some sort of interaction there with the wonderful Tim Frost of T-Sport Burnau. Tim is an absolute superstar, a very energetic character, and we love him to bits. You'll often hear him screaming the word Antonio in the pit lane. If anybody is the biggest fan of Antonio Albacete, it's his own team manager, Tim Frost. But yes, the championship standings at the moment, very tight indeed. After Norbert Kish, unfortunately, he's got a massive lead. But this is the circuit where they will do battle today. We've got the Dunlop curve and the Dunlop chicane, the very difficult start to the lap, heavy braking zone there, but then the 3 hairpins that go back on one another, La Chapelle, Le Musée and Garage Vert, which is going to be such a pinch point of this track again today. And the fantastic scenery, I'm sure, will look very tasty in this sunshine that we have here on Sunday at Le Mans. It's almost like we've got a sort of countryside setting around us here with all of the beautiful trees and scenery. And it's going to be lit up very nicely indeed. We've got long shadows still this morning, of course. It's only 10 to 10 local time. So it's still very much a morning qualifying session. But by the end of yesterday's racing, we had long shadows there as well. The lighting was gorgeous by the end of the second race of the day. As the trucks now just wait at the end of the pit lane. I was just waiting to see whether they would make their way down there. This is the championship picture at the moment. 334 points to Norbert Kish, with Jochen Hahn on 258, Antonio Albacete 216, and Sasha Lenz 214. So it's still all to play for second, third and fourth, but Norbert Kish, like I say, just needs to finish ahead of those guys in this first race, and he will be crowned 2023 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Champion, and that will be his fifth title, his third on the bounce, which has only been done a handful of other times. Thank you to my colleague Joachim Eberts, the German commentator for the championship, who will provide us with all of the facts and figures we need. He's the oracle, as I call him. Just down there in fifth and sixth place, by the way, Steffi Helm and Andre Kurzim have this very intriguing Iveco battle going on for the last couple of points there in their championship fight. We've got Jamie Anderson, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Stefan Faas and Lucas Hahn completing our top 10 at this moment in time. And then following them, we have Mark Taylor, 1 point ahead of Adam Lachko, who we had back for Most. Then it's John Newell, Heinrich Clemens-Hecker, Louis Requenco, Jonathan Andre, Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort and Jose Rodriguez, who returns to the championship this weekend, having his first two races yesterday. Unfortunately, retired from race number 2. But he had a decent run in race 1. And there is the man himself. There is Norbert Kish making his way towards us now, on the brink of doing something very special and becoming a 5-time European Truck Racing Championship winner. Just going to try and see who it was that EB, the German commentator, had mentioned to us. By the way, the points situation now actually is that Jochen Hahn is on 256 points, and then I believe we've got Sasha Lenz now on 215 points and Antonio Albacete still on 216. So all that it's changed is that it is Sasha Lenz that's gained an extra point there, while Jochen Hahn has lost one. In terms of the drivers that have won it 3 times in a row, we had Kurt Goransson, the Swedish driver, who won it 3 times in a row from 1988 to 1990. Steve Parish, a very legendary 5-time champion, had 3 wins from 1992, 93 and 94. And then Heinz-Werner Lenz, of course, Sasha Lenz's father, won it 3 times in a row, 1997 to 1999. And then Jochen Hahn, 2011 to 2013. So with this, I'm sure that Norbert Kish would be over the moon to equal the 5-time championship set by Steve Parish. That would be a hell of an achievement for the Hungarian driver. He's won already 2 titles back-to-back in the past. Norby first won the series in 2014, then won it again in 2015, but then had to wait a while and came back with this amazing Reverse Racing team and their MAN in 2021. After the season was cut short in 2020, no championship was awarded there. But then 2021 he won it, 2022 he won it as well. And then, well, are we going to see him win it today? It's pretty sorted out that he is going to win it at some point by the look of his form at the moment, but you never know in motorsport, anything can happen. We still have to be realistic here. It's not done until the fat lady sings, as they say. In my notes since doing this championship as a commentator, I've always written down that Norby dominated in 2015 with 19 race victories. And so far this season, he is on 18 race victories with 6 races left to go. So there's all chance that he will eclipse that record as well of getting over 18 race wins in a 32 race season. It is remarkable form. 15 minutes left to go in this first qualifying session then, and people are now on their initial flying laps. It's quite a long outlap here at the Le Mans Bugatti circuit, over 3 minutes long, 3.5 minutes in most cases. But Norbert Kish puts the first qualifying time on the board on Sunday, and it is a 2:06.576. He's nearly a second clear of Jochen Hahn. So I'm sure that Norby will be happy with that one, and potentially will just bring the truck back to the pit lane now. He knows he's all but guaranteed himself a place in Superpole with that one. 2.5 seconds ahead of Steffi Helm, who currently runs in 5th place. But it's Kiss from Hahn. Albacete is a good 7/10 back on Jochen Hahn, actually. Then Sasha Lenz only a few thousandths behind. And then Steffi Helm in 5th place, 2.5 seconds back with a 2:09.089. There is Antonio Albacete. Had a pretty good day yesterday, a 4th place in a 2nd place. There was a great picture of the team on social media yesterday. I believe it was captured by our very own Richard Kienberger, but I could be mistaken. But there was a fantastic picture of them all celebrating and all happy with Antonio's result as he came back into the paddock. And it honestly looks so staged because everybody looks so perfectly in place. It's just a beautiful shot. Really do urge you to go and see that. As, oh dearie me, that wasn't such a beautiful shot from the eyes of Antonio Albacete. A lock up there with the front right into Garage Vert, but it's so easy to do. We saw drivers doing that yesterday so many times. You can really overdo it into there because you're suddenly going downhill into a braking zone, and then the truck just doesn't want to respond. It doesn't want to turn in. You can see now that Antonio was backed off. You can see the steam coming off the brakes on the front. These trucks have active water jets sprayed at the brakes on the front end to cool those brakes down as best they can. It looked like there was some smoke coming from the back of it there. I'm not sure if that was just the steam sort of stretching back out of the rear end of the truck, but it looked like there was some sort of smoke coming from it. There was that much of it. I may be mistaken, and hopefully for their sake I am. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything now. Maybe just me overly worrying about things. We never like having any engine failures or anything in this championship, and we always want to make sure that the grid is at full capacity when it can be. I mean, just ask Louis Requenco. He's up there in 8th place at the moment. He's not even driving his own truck this weekend. Jochen Hahn's son, Lucas, competes in the championship from time to time, and he also drives an Iveco, very similar to Louis Requenco's truck. So this weekend, Lucas's truck is here, but with Louis Requenco's truck's body parts on it, after Louis' massive engine failure at Zolder 2 weeks ago. There's Antonio Albacete flying up towards the chicane. It's a great shot as they make their way through the first corner there. They are doing 100 miles an hour up that hill towards the chicane. It is remarkable to look at. There's Heinrich Clemens Hecker. He didn't have too bad a day yesterday. Certainly kept busy in the Promoters' Cup battles. And there's been an overspeeding penalty for Jose Rodriguez. He's had a lap time cancelled, unfortunately, and Heinrich Clemens Hecker is not on the board yet either because he has also had a lap time deleted for track limits. He's driving this beautiful and very angular Scania. As he was telling Lena yesterday, his entire truck company, his haulage company, uses Scanias on the daily, so they stay on brand and use Scanias in the championship as well. There is Norbert Kish into the pit lane, and all good by the look of it. Another very uniform session for those guys. It's all looking good at the moment. There is Shaba Barco. You can tell it's cold down there though. The guys wearing their jackets, their Revache Racing branded jackets, but they've just got everything under control at the moment, have Revache Racing. Looking very good indeed. And on a personal level, I really look forward to seeing Shaba and the guys again at Jarama in just under a week's time. It's only 2 days until I'll be heading out to Madrid to go and rendezvous with everybody before the season finale gets into full swing. Louis Requenco will be having his home race there. He'll be really excited for that. Hopefully they can get the truck fixed in time, but I think it'll be a case of them using Lucas's truck until the end of the campaign. Lucas isn't in the fight really for any overall or Promoters' Cup championships. I'm not sure if it's just me, but the bodywork on the front of that truck looks like it's sort of bent inwards. We'll have to try and have a look at that as Requenco goes deep into the first chicane. We're going to go back down into the pit lane, though, and we're going to speak with Lena, who's got one of our drivers for us.
Yes, actually it's Steffi Helm again, and I meant to show you this item, and I have been here for the first time. I was like, what are they doing over there? It's because this is like what you normally like do sports with, but it says go and stop. So of course this is the sign for the drivers to like stay here or go, which obviously is very clear. But this is not actually what I was about to talk to Steffi about, because yesterday she had quite a good day. She has been on podium 3rd place, then she was about to become 2nd, fighting for 1st place. And then she got some punish points, which brought her back to 4th place today. So how are you feeling and what's your plan for today? Very sorry about yesterday and the stupid 5 seconds.
yeah, yesterday was a perfect day for us. The first and the second race were good. Yeah, now we are in the qualifying, and I have to watch a little bit of times because I don't know if the first lap was fast enough. I had a mistake, so now I check the times and we will see if we have to go out again, but I hope we can have the same day like yesterday.
What does it look like right now? Like, do you think you have to go out or are you safe for now?
Yeah, for the moment I stay. I'm sixth position. I have a little bit of gap, but it's not much, and for sure the times will get faster because the track will get drier, because we make it wet with our cooling system of the brakes, and yeah, for sure it will get faster, so I have to watch until the end.
All right, so I'll let you watch what the boys are doing. I think I might walk over to Norbert Kish, just asking if he had a good night of sleep, maybe becoming the European champion again today already. But just back to you for now, because I really need to walk down there. See you in a second.
Thank you, Lena. Very much appreciated. Always good to hear off Steffi Helm as well. She's a real star of the paddock, is Steffi, our only female driver on the grid in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. She was joined actually by Emma Mäkinen, who joined us for the Nürburgring round of the season last year. It was also very interesting to see how Emma got on, of course, daughter of a rather famous truck racing driver, to say the least, Mika Mäkinen. Mark Taylor, who we just have on our screen now, has just had his lap time deleted for track limits, unfortunately, so he will be now trying to push on to improve yet again. He is in 12th position at the moment, just ahead of his countryman John Newell, and only just behind Heinrich Clemens Hecker, but everybody there outside of the top 10 has quite a gap to make up to move forward and get into the top 10 positions, because those are the ones that go through in Superpole. Stefan Faas has come into the pit lane after not setting a time yet. His outlap was 8 minutes long. So I'm really not sure what's happened to Stefan Faas there, but unfortunately the truck letting him down by the look of it, and he needs points at this stage of the season because he needs to go chasing Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who is currently, again, fastest in the Promoters' Cup. He has been on shining form in these later stages of the season. He's up there in 6th place at the moment, ahead of Steffi Helm and Andrei Kurzim. Louis Requenco looking good for another Superpole progression ahead of Jose Rodriguez. There is Jose Eduardo. Looks like we've had a difference in the times there as Newell goes ahead of Taylor, but at the very top of the order we've got Norbert Kish, and he's down there with Lena.
Yes, it's the last meters to walk. Yeah, thank you. We also have the Lotus Cup running this weekend, and they're just coming back from the race they were having beforehand, which gives us kind of a noise. And what's up with these faces? You might have a big celebration today, so I really want to see you smiling. So, hi Norbert, did you have a good night of sleep tonight?
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thank you, yes.
So I was wondering, what's going on in your head for a day like this? I mean, obviously you're already used to winning in Le Mans, so like what were your thoughts this morning when you woke up?
You know, of course, today can be a special day, you know, but only if we are doing our job right, you know. So obviously we are concentrating on, you know, to do the job right, like every day before in the season, you know, to have the proper preparation, you know, and be precise, you know, with the track, with the setup and everything. And then, you know, we just try to do the best we can.
All right, so I'll let you do your job for now. Good luck with the qualifying, good luck with the Super Pole, but I know it. I mean, you never know. Something has been happening yesterday, but he's safe. I'm pretty sure about it. I'll see you later on. Race now. I don't want to jinx it. It's like sometimes you're like talking to the drivers and afterwards like, why did I do it? So let's just walk over to Jochen Hahn and have a quick chat with him, but just back to you for now.
Yeah, Norbert, I imagine, will be rather calm about this today. He's certainly a man that is always in control when it comes to his racing. He's definitely the star of the show at the moment in terms of the pace and even the reliability. You know, the truck has let them down twice this season, but that's a drop in the ocean compared to what you can see sometimes. And the guys have done an amazing job at preparing that truck time and time again. It's always on pace. Norby is always on his top of his game. It's awesome to watch him race, to be honest. It really is. It's just amazing. And the great thing about this whole paddock as well is that there's nobody going around the paddock going, oh, they're cheating, or doing anything, any sort of crying wolf, as they say. It's just everybody just has massive respect for Norby and the pace and the ability. And every team, you ask them, what do you think of this? And, what can you do to catch up? And people shake their heads, they always try and get up there with them. But the capability of Reverse Racing Team and Norbert Kish is just so impressive that anyone you ask in the paddock will go, oh yeah, they're the real deal. It's very, very impressive. It's Albacete second at the moment, with Jochen Hahn in third, Sasha Lenz in fourth, and Jose Rodriguez has moved up into fifth place. He's put in a really solid lap time there, actually. Louis Requenco still just inside the top 10. John Newell just outside of it, with Heinrich Clemens-Hecker and Mark Taylor also hoping to get in. We've got Stefan Faas back out on track, which is good to see. He's pushing on in the Scania. Look at the way they move in this final sector of the circuit, diving from one corner of the truck to the other. That looked like track limits to me, Stefan, but we'll have to wait and see. Out of the final corner he goes, kicks the back end out as he snatches another gear, and then powers himself across the line in that Scania. Let's see where that puts him. Is he going to go inside the top 10? No, actually, because I'm being very, very silly, because that was his outlap. So now he's pushing on for his timed lap. 3.25 minutes left to go. So he needs to get on with this one with a big lock-up into turn one. Hopefully he can keep that tidy, and we'll come back to him in just a second, because we're going to go down to Lena, who's with Jochen Hahn.
Steffi fährt wieder raus. Okay, so we're down here with Jochen Hahn. I was just having a look because Steffi actually left the track again, which means she's still fighting for a better position. And we are just observing up here. I think Jochen right now is on third position, right?
Correct, yes.
How are you feeling today? Because we're starting out 2 hours more early than yesterday. Yesterday it was been much drier, less cold today. So do you have to be more cautious this morning?
Yeah, it's completely different, the track, Maybe we miss 8-10 degree temperature of the track, and it's a little bit wet on outside, the water from the brakes, it's there. So, yes, it's completely different to yesterday, but the Super Pole, maybe it's nearly the same.
You're such an experienced driver. Does it give you the extra kick to having to drive a little more carefully, maybe?
No, not really careful, but we can watch the circuit and the track, and we know, okay, we go slower in this moment. But normally when the track temperature is down, we can go faster. But Le Mans have a completely different, the asphalt is completely different, it's not like Jarama or Zolder. And from this side it's slippy when it's cold, but normally it's the grip level high. But anyway, everybody go on the limit. And then we make the calculation after the Super Pole, not after qualifying.
All right, I know you're ready for Super Pole. We're about to get started very soon. I hope for more points for you to come today. I think right now you're pretty safe being second for this championship. How confident are you about it?
Not really confident, I'm a realist, and mathematics, it's all possible. We see it yesterday with the mistake from Sasha, with the broken linkage on the axle. You have no points, but now it's Antonio not nearly behind me, but he's behind me. I have a mistake today, he has the profit, in mathematics. So, on the limit, every time.
All right, so I can't wait to see you on the limit again. Thank you so much. Good luck to you, and Chess, back to you for now.
Thank you, Lena. Always good to hear from Jochen. He is definitely a realist. He knows exactly what he needs to do and how capable he is of doing it as well. We see Mark Taylor on our screen right now, who is pushing to get inside the top 10. But as I mentioned before, with Jose Rodriguez heading up there into 5th place, he's actually going to have his lap times deleted from this session because of overspeeding. He has been investigated for it and found to have been overspeeding, so his lap times from the session will be deleted, and he will have to request to start the race from the grid. So that means that this man, Mark Taylor, well, he would have been up into the top 10, but Louis Requenco is now in 11th place. Louis Requenco improving to a 2:09.3, so Mark needs to try and beat him on this lap to get 11th, which would become 10th, and he doesn't, unfortunately. So Louis Requenco, right at the death there, gets himself back into the top 10 and into Super Pole, because John Newell is going to be joining them as well by the look of it. So John Newell makes it into 10th place and into Superpole with the deletion of the lap time by... Oh, sorry, I was looking at... sorry, I was thinking that Requenco was the one that improved. It was actually John Newell that improved and moved up there. So it was John that did a 209.313. 209.325 by Louis Requenco. So remarkably close between those guys. Requenco gets into Superpole, or does he? Because Stefan Fast crosses the line. He moves up with a 209.373 now. So those guys are all separated by mere thousandths of a second. But Stefan Fast just misses out. And Requenco, well, he flies up into 7th place there. Goes fastest in the Promoters' Cup. So amazing stuff by him. Brilliant final lap there by Louis Requenco. Inspired pace from the Spanish driver. Certainly enjoying that truck this weekend, isn't he? Prepared by Team Hahn Racing. But unfortunately, Mark Taylor misses out there. I was getting all excited for him and the team to get back up there after the repair job that they had to do yesterday. And Steffi Helm has just moved up as well into 4th place with a 208.076. Now, a lot of the sort of surface of this looks like this part of qualifying won't make much of a difference, but this basically determines, for the top 10 drivers anyway that go out in the next session, this determines what order they go out into Superpole, and it's a very short session as well, so you want to be as far forward as you can to start your qualifying laps as early as possible. John Newell there crossing the line. His last lap was a 2:32.5, so he backed off on that one, I think, and just came round to make sure that the session was completed and that he took the checkered flag. So the top 10, Norbert Kish, Antonio Albacete, Jochen Hahn, Steffi Helm, Sasha Lenz, Jamie Anderson, Louis Requenco, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Andre Kurzim. And then in 10th place we would have had, I believe, John Newell making it through, was he not? The top 10 has just disappeared off my timing screen, I do apologise, but it did show Jose Rodriguez in there, but he will have his lap times deleted and will not go through into Superpole now. So the extra driver that was in 11th at that point was the one that went through, but there was so much movement at the end of that session there. I don't actually know who ended up in 11th, but it's disappeared off my timing screen now, so I'll let you know when I can, everybody. Apologies for the confusion here. There was a lot of calculating needed to go on in my head, and it's a bit early in the morning for that. Still, it's a gorgeous morning at Le Mans at the Bugatti circuit. I'm back in the UK for this weekend, and it's not a bad morning here in Cheshire, I can tell you that. It still looks quite lovely outside. But the thing is, at Le Mans, it's a very clear day, but it's very, very cold. Everybody I've spoken to this morning has told me that it's even colder than yesterday. So you will see all the teams and drivers out there in jackets, and obviously the pit lane's in the shade as well in the early part of the day. So they will be pretty chilly for the most part until later on this afternoon. But let's not forget that Norbert Kish could take his 5th title in the first race of today. So things will definitely heat up there. There is the beautiful red MAN known as Bellew. Norby's fantastic machine that has propelled him to 2 championships in the last 2 seasons, and I'm sure will continue to perform well for him today when it comes to Superpole and then this first race, which will be round number 27 of the 2023 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And the Revache Racing team holding station as ever, always looking as prepared as they are. They're usually just so on it that you don't really see them doing a massive amount of crazy sort of frantic work in the pit lane. They just have everything so well prepared and good to go. There is Heinrich Clemens Hecker making his way back into the pit lane. And there is Jochen Hahn, 2nd place in... Actually, no, sorry, he was 3rd place in that session, behind Antonio Albacete. And you can see now they're all making their way out of the pit lane. Usually they would line them up one by one at the end, but this time they've just got them out in the necessary order. It's Norbert Kish making his way out, and then Antonio Albacete, Jochen Hahn, and then Sascha Lenz. I think next up will be Steffi Helm making her way out onto the circuit. There's Jamie Anderson making his way out. It looks like Jose Rodriguez went out there as well, though. I was expecting him to have his time deleted and be taken out of the session, so not quite sure what's gone on there. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez heads out as well, so too does Andre Kurzim. Just checking now. Because I was pretty sure there that we should have had a Rodriguez in number 14. Not Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Jose Rodriguez. Let's not get confused now. I don't think he should have been out in this session, but Newell should. So we'll have to see what happens with this now. If, yeah, apparently race control are discussing this now, so we'll have to see what comes of this. But 8 minutes on the clock already, because this is only a 10-minute session, Superpole. Usually it's 20 minutes for the first part of qualifying, then 10 minutes for the second part for Superpole. So the drivers don't get many chances here to put laps in. It's very interesting whenever we go to the Slovakia ring, because even on a fast lap, it's nearly 3 minutes there in these trucks on that very, very long, twisty circuit. There's Steffi Helm and Jamie Anderson. You can see some of them not leaving as much space as we've seen them leave in other sessions. They're all putting pressure on to get up there as soon as possible. There is the offender, let's say, at the moment, Jose Rodriguez. He's not really supposed to be out there in that session. If he's had all of his lap times deleted, it would have dropped him outside of top 10 in Superpole. And there is John Newell making his way into the paddock. So doesn't look like he will be heading out there, unfortunately, which is a big, big shame. John working hard on improving his pace more and more this weekend. It was this race meeting last year where he made his debut in the championship, his first appearance. And I've been told there's a black flag for truck 14. So he will have his lap times cancelled, and I'm pretty sure he'll be brought back into the pit lane anyway and given a proverbial slap on the wrists. Norbert Kish leading them down into the long, sweeping right-hander, the beautiful Virage de la Chapelle, followed by his teammate in the championship, Antonio Albacete. They have pretty much clinched the team's championship now, have Revesh and T-Sport. Amazing performance all year, and I believe that's 3 times in a row now this pairing has come together to be the team's champions of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And T-Sport are now working hard to recuperate some points here to try and chase down Jochen Hahn for second in the championship. Antonio has been so close so many times to winning the title. He is a triple champion though. He won it what feels like a long time ago now, but don't tell him that. 2005, 2006 and 2010, Antonio Albacete has won the title. Someone that is definitely hoping to win it at some point after his first season in the show is Mark Taylor. He's down there with Lena for a quick chat.
Actually, he is in scrutineering, which sometimes is a good sign, sometimes isn't. And right now, he was on the phone. Mark, I was like, how do you feel when you're being pulled out to scrutineering? It's always like a weird moment to you, no?
Yeah, it is a bit weird, but it's a good thing. At least, you know, we're checking your trucks and you know everybody's safe on the track. So it is a good thing, really.
What are they checking on right now on your truck?
We've checked the weight of the truck to see if I'm not underweight. We're doing the width and the height, and they want to check the restrictor as well on the turbo.
Did you have enough breakfast just to make sure the truck is a little more heavy?
Hopefully I did.
All right. So you had quite a couple of races, like you had almost a big accident. Belgium has been on and off for you, like from podium to like really downs. Here you have been struggling a little bit as well. So how are you feeling for this day today?
Hopefully we'll start getting this look back. So we had a really good start to the season. So I'm hoping we did have that mishap in the middle, and it took a couple of races to get the truck back to where it should be. So hopefully we should start pushing on again.
Are you feeling confident again in the truck, like technical-wise?
Yeah, feeling confident. Everybody's done brilliant on it to get it back to how it is. There's always a few little gremlins in it, but we've sorted it all out, so hopefully we're back to normal again.
All right, I really like to see a happy face once you're being back in the top, so you go and speed up the truck. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Lena. Always a pleasure to hear from Mark Taylor as well. And yeah, hopefully he's had a good enough breakfast to make sure the truck isn't underweight. But I tell you what, there's worse problems to have than being underweight, isn't there? I mean, look at me after COVID. Anyway, Norbert Kish is currently fastest in Superpole 2 of the weekend, ahead of Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. Sasha Lenz in 4th place at the moment, with Steffi Helm in 5th. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is currently 6th and fastest out of the Promoters Cup drivers that have made it through into the top 10. Jamie Anderson, after his race win yesterday, is currently in 7th, ahead of Andrei Kursim, who's already had a very busy weekend with his usual defensive racing. And then Louis Requenco sits in 9th place at this moment in time. I don't think some of the guys there are overdoing it at this stage of Superpole. They're just taking whatever laps they can. But hopefully we can figure out what the situation was regarding Rodriguez and Newell. And Newell is already in Parc Ferme, so as we saw, he won't be going back out on track, which is a real shame because he hasn't had that opportunity to set a time and see whether he can just gain that extra grid position. Here's Sasha Lenz, currently 4th fastest at the moment. They've had a very busy weekend. They had the gearbox out of that thing last night. Thanks again to the wonderful Steve Miller for sending me a text and letting me know. He sent me the image as they pulled the gearbox out of the truck, and if you've never seen a truck racing gearbox get removed, I implore you to try and somehow find a way to do that, because they are monumental things. They are massive, massive gearboxes. As you'd imagine, every component on these trucks is huge, but Sasha and the team put in a mammoth effort last night to get that truck all sorted out. And it's a bit of a sort of highlight of the ethos of the whole One Truck Family hashtag that we bring with us all around the world. There was a great picture sent to me yesterday by my colleague Alice Holloway, who sent me an image of Sasha's truck being worked on between races, where Sasha himself was sat on a Revache Racing forklift that they'd borrowed to help Jamie Anderson's team fix the truck. It was great. We're quickly going to go back down to Lena, though, I've heard.
And John Newell, who might have jumped back into Superpole because of what happened to Rodriguez, but you're already standing here, so what's going on?
Yeah, I was in Superpole because his times were cancelled for overspeeding, but they told me to come into Parc Ferme, and then they're telling me, oh, now you have to wait to see if you go back into Superpole. So I don't know, it's crazy.
Okay, so this has not been the most lucky moment for you, but let's see how scrutiny ring goes, and then we will sort out the rest. No. So good luck for you to know they're already jumping, like you can be here when scrutiny ring happens, so just let him go, and I will go back to chess for now.
Yeah, thank you, Lena. An understandably frustrated John Newell there, and oh, dearie me, we've got Antonio Albacete off the circuit, and he nearly has to pay to get back in. He was that far off there, so not quite sure whether he was just taken by the oh, that'll be why. I was going to say, I'm not sure if he just saw a fancy show truck on the outside of the circuit and in the paddock that he fancied having a look at. Does he keep it out of the barriers? Oh, he does. Antonio, you absolute star. Tim will be thanking him for that one later on, I can tell you that. But again, just gets the grip on the edge of the circuit there. They usually do have a bit of runoff at the edge of gravel traps to make sure that it's not all gravel all the way up to the barriers, and Antonio knew that, flicked the truck sideways and got it out of there. That is pure experience there coming in to show. He's got 17 seconds to cross the line here and try for another lap. He's currently in 3rd place, but he definitely wants that front row start at least to be alongside Norbert Kish. 7 seconds left on the clock, and he will now cross the line to start another qualifying lap. It does show that Louis Requenco is 36 seconds off the pace at the moment. That's because that's his out lap that is being scored, so he's had his lap times deleted. Steffi Helm crosses the line as the checkered flag comes out. I don't think she'll get another lap in. I don't think Jochen Hahn will either, but the checkered flag is out here for the second Superpole session of the weekend at the Le Mans Bugatti circuit. And it is Norbert Kish, fastest and in the pit lane as well. He's done his job. He knows exactly what the team want. And he has delivered again. Nearly 0.8 of a second clear of Jochen Hahn. Antonio Albacete still pushing on his lap though. And I think Sasha Lenz also pushing on. It seems like Sasha's just completed the first sector. So he may be in with a chance of improving. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez yet again fastest in the Promoters Cup. Doing a great job there. But I'm very gutted for John Newell there. In the confusion of what was going on, not getting a chance to head out into Superpole. I'm sure there will be an investigation to figure out how that happened and where the direction came from to send him back in. But there is Norbert Kish taking yet another pole position, continuing on with his 100% record. That's pole number 14 of 14 this season for Norby. It seems like he's almost completely unstoppable at the top of the championship. And he will now be directed back into the paddock and into Parc Fermé. There's Sasha Lenz really styling it out around the final corner. Sideways, sideways, sideways. And he hops up into second place. Great lap by Sasha. 2:06.897 improves his position. What can Antonio Albacete do as he completes his lap as well? Jamie Anderson moves up to 5th place. He does a 2:07.989. Here is Antonio Albacete now. Is it going to be tidy enough to move him up the order as well? He crosses the line, and no, it's not. He's a 1/10 and a half off, unfortunately, in the end. But Sasha Lenz with a last gasp effort there to beat Jochen Hahn by just under 1/10 of a second. Great effort indeed, especially considering the amount of repairs and work that's gone on to have that truck back fighting fit after his issues in the earlier races. Great job by Sasha. He'll be over the moon there to bring back some points. It's so tight between himself, Hahn and Albacete. Only 1 point between Sasha and Antonio now. Antonio, the one with that single point in his favour. They are at the moment 40 points behind Jochen Hahn, actually. I say it's tight, but that's quite the big gap for Jochen over the other guys. Sasha Lenz is definitely clear in terms of 4th place in the championship, at least, because they are a long way ahead of Steffi Helm and Andre Kurzim. But we keep our eyes on that battle as well, because they're only 3 points apart for 5th and 6th. So it's Norbert Kish taking another awesome pole position, with Sasha Lenz alongside. Then it's Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. Jamie Anderson and Steffi Helm. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, the highest in the Promoters Cup, with Andre Kurzim in 8th. Louis Requenco put a 2:08.9 in to be in 9th place. John Newell is showing as 10th on my screen, despite not going out in Superpole. There's Antonio Albacete, who just completed probably his liveliest qualifying session of the season. He had a number of lockups and moments, but you could tell he was really pushing into Garage Vert, because that right-hander is so important as part of this lap here. And he definitely knew it, and he could try and focus all of his energy on that corner, it seems. He's got the rest of it figured out. He was actually telling us yesterday that he's not the most confident at this circuit here at Le Mans. It's a tricky place to go racing in any machine, to be honest, especially in racing trucks that require such precision in driving when you're carrying all of the momentum and all of the weight on each corner. There is Louis Requenco in the gorgeous number 64 machine. You can see, though, the back of the cab is completely white, as it is usually Lucas Hahn's truck. So it's just the other body panels that have been replaced on that machine. Not as big a job as repairing the engine that they destroyed at Zolder with that massive fire. Now the gardening gets done on the gravel trap there on the exit of Garage Vert. Look at the thickness of the tyre marks heading into that gravel there. You can just see how massive these truck tyres are. There is the result, though. Norbert Kish takes pole position number 14 of the season. Sasha Lenz in 2nd place, some 7/10 back. Jochen Hahn 3rd, with Antonio Albacete in 4th. Then a bit of a gap back to Jamie Anderson and Steffi Helm, separated by almost nothing, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez just behind as well. Then about half a second back to Andrei Kurzim, another half a second to Louis Requenco, and John Newell is classified as having a lap time on there, but I believe that's his lap time from Q2. Stefan Faas in 11th, ahead of Mark Taylor in 12th, Heinrich Clemens Hecker down there in 13th, with Jose Rodriguez at the bottom of the pile now that he's had his lap times deleted, but because there was no lap time to show, he doesn't show on the graphics. A big crowd, as always, here at Le Mans. The grandstands were completely packed last night for the fantastic show trucks to make their way around the circuit and the wonderful slalom event that they do. I forget the name of it still. I've been asking people and nobody can seem to remember what it was called. But they do a slalom event, basically. At the Nürburgring, we have a go and stop competition, which is a very unique thing in itself. But here, with the French Truck Racing Championship and the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, we have this amazing sort of slalom where they go between cones and have to set a time down the start-finish straight. It is massive entertainment, and we get thousands, almost tens of thousands of people on the start-finish straight alone to watch the epic parade and the fireworks as well. It's a very special weekend, is Le Mans. And there is John Newell. I imagine not very happy right now, John, with what has gone on, but still he'll be happy to have made it through into Superpole and into a top 10 position. It's always a big confidence boost for the drivers when they can make the way up there. I love that the metallic blue extends to even the wheel hubs of John's truck. It's a beautifully presented machine, always has been, with John's NWT Motorsport team. They're just making sure now that they can choreograph this so that John can get out easily. These trucks may be humongous, but they don't have the best turning circle in the world. If you're talking turning circles, think small moon. That's about what the turning circles are like on these trucks in the paddock. And obviously with their natural size, you have to be very, very careful with manoeuvring them around. Antonio Albacete directed into scrutineering. And there's that caster angle I spoke about yesterday. Look at that front left wheel. Because of the weight of these trucks and how much they lean, they really have a tight caster angle on them to make sure that when they are leaning mid-corner, that tyre is flat to the circuit. So they have this massive amount of caster on them. Look at it. It almost looks like the suspension's completely broken and the wheel is going to fall off. And we're actually going to stay relevant to Antonio Albacete because his manager, Tim Frost, is down there with Lena.
Yeah, Tim Frost always celebrates his drivers so much. I really love your spirit. What happened on the racetrack right now?
Yeah, we had a lock-up. Okay, we were pushing. We know we're quicker. Okay, we qualified P4. Sasha made a mega last lap, so we were really pushing. So, yeah, and...
Overdid it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
All right.
Yes, but in the last lap for us, we lost a little bit. Sector 1, Sector 2 and 3 was better. So there is speed in the truck, but just unlocking it, it's difficult for everyone, apart from Norby.
Antonio already said that he had some issues with the tires, getting used to the new setup of the tires, so maybe that also might be a reason.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yesterday we couldn't turn the tires on, so today we're trying something else, and obviously it takes time to progress it, so... Yeah.
All right. I mean, you still have the tightest battle together with Sasha about points and like ranking, so that also might be the reason when Sasha's around to like push a little harder.
For sure. Yeah. The goal is to finish first, but yeah, you need to pick your battles. So for sure, we're fighting for P3 in the championship. So yeah, with truck racing, you never know what's going to happen. So we'll just keep pushing all the way till the end.
All right. See you at race number 3 in quite a second, and Chas, back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. Always great to hear from him. Tim Frost, an absolute superstar, and like he was saying there, you know, all about unlocking the pace over the course of a weekend like this. And what I mentioned earlier about Norbert Kish, you know, everybody respecting Norby's pace and saying it's amazing. As you heard from Tim there, everyone's trying to unlock the pace and can't quite get there, except Norby. But they are teammates, so they respect each other massively and know what needs to be done. That's going to be all from me, though, here in the commentary box, back in the UK anyway, for qualifying. We have, of course, race 3 and race 4 coming your way later today. 10-2 for race 3 and 25-5 for race 4. I'm going to say goodbye for now, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.